Hello, welcome to our brick tip number 30. If you have been watching our social feed, you know I've been working on this all week, playing around trying to figure out a design. I want to make a flower bloom by twisting the pot. That was the plan. I've got the mechanics worked out. Obviously, I need some more shaping up here and a little bit of a brighter color scheme. But it works for now. I'm going to show you how it works, and then we will reset the camera and break it down so you can see how it's constructed. So here it goes. We're twisting the bottom of the pot, and the little bee is flying around, opening up our flower. So now I will go reset the camera and break it down for you. Be right back. Alright, so we got our flower here. We are going to start breaking it down from the top and go to the bottom. So at the very beginning, we'll take off these flower petals. They're just there as a placeholder. So they're just tacked on with a single stud, so they're very delicate, just like an actual flower. There we go. So we have our bee. So as we turn, you can see that there is a little Technic piece, 2x. Adjust the focus for you. There we go. So there is a 2x Technic piece there. And as that spins, it pushes on these rounded plates. Like so. So that is the function that opens up the flower petals. We pull this off, you'll see it's just an axle. It's an 18 long axle which connects all the way up here down to there, which is why these Technic connectors are here for spacing. So let's go and take the top off. I just secured those in place with a couple of rounded plates. So that's just a clip and a bar. So we can pop this whole section off. Maybe. Here it comes. There we go. So that's our piece that everything's resting on. And those are just clicked into place by a couple of pins. And this is where the actual mechanics start happening. So to get this to work, and to get it to spin this, and actually cause enough force to push open those flower petals, the trick was this part had to actually be firm. It couldn't, it had somehow to be attached down here. And this is where these tendrils come into play. And you can see, if I pop it off, that I connected them with just Technic half pins that went into those holes. I gave them just a single twist around the stem and then pop them in place. So that when we turn give me a second here. There we go. We had them in the wrong hole. There we go. Oh. So when we turn our base, it's going to start turning these, and that's what's going to give us the friction that we need to get that bee to spin around and unlock or push open the flowers. Okay, so we're going to take that off, and we can just eliminate all of this because that's just there as filler. And now you can see the mechanism like so. So as we spin the bottom, spins the axle. That's the simple part. Now this is just all shaping and just stuff to cover up the bottom, the mechanics underneath. So we can pull this all off. And in fact, we can probably, maybe, even take the whole thing off as one unit. There we go. So you can see here, all it is just a square hole so that all of our axles and tendrils can fit down in without being squeezed too hard. This is just all shaping in here. Mostly plates and some rounded over pieces to make the rim of the pot look good. So this is the bottom section of our drive unit, I guess. So we pull this off because this again is just shaping. And then you will be able to see what we have going on there. Okay, so we have this piece here, which is a Technic plate with a couple of with the through and through pinhole. So I'll get that out for you. I had this mounted with a couple of headlight bricks and a couple of jumpers, and that locks that plate in place. So we pop that unit off and you can see it better. So that's just the jumpers to hold it in place. And then this part is our two eyelet pieces, which we obviously shove the tendrils down into, and they hold those absolutely firm. And then we have a plate on top of that to hold all this in. We're going to pull off this plate. This obviously needed to be there to mount everything onto. And we have a tile with the hole in it. Then we get further down, and these down here are kind of just there to support that plate. They don't really have any other function than for that plate to hold up. So we have a wheel well, a full wheel, then another round brick with an axle hole, and then finally at the bottom we have another wheel, which is where our axle connects into. So this, again, is held on just by a couple of half pins into this circular plate, and then our bottom, where the water would go down, is just shaped to make it look nicer and to give us a spot to turn. If you'll notice, when I put the rounded pieces on here, that these are connected by hinges. It's a tricky thing to do, but it definitely locks it in. And then I just used a half pin and a round tile to fill in the gaps. So there we go. That is our destroyed flower pot. If you want part lists, I can definitely do that. I would love to see somebody take this concept and actually create something beautiful out of it. I know that my prototype here was rather rough, but the whole idea was just to get the mechanics down. If you have any questions about how that worked, I can definitely help you out with that. I hope this video was useful and inspiring to go out and do some crazy mechanical things. You never know where these things are going to take you. The first concept I had to make this didn't work well, and I found that using that axle was a much simpler way to do the same task that I wanted. Initially, I was going to use a plunger to push up the flower petals, but having that little bee flying around with this as the activator worked perfectly. So if you have found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. As I mentioned in the beginning, we have all sorts of social feeds. I will post the links in the description. And we have a Patreon account if you wish to support us that way. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day. Keep dreaming in bricks. Bye-bye.